Today I am testing 10 of the spookiest Halloween TikTok recipes. From eyeball boba to a severed hand made of cheese, these recipes look perfect for Halloween. But do they taste good too? Let's find out. Oh my gosh, perfect for Halloween, eyeball boba. It looks like an eyeball soup and they're perfect because they're like slimy too. I love this. Let's give it a try. So in a small saucepan, we're gonna combine a little bit of tapioca powder, a little bit of sugar, and a little bit of water. Once everything is well mixed, I'm gonna bring this over to the stove, put it on low heat, and cook it up. Look at that. Looks like a really sticky booger. That's what you want. I got another bowl of tapioca flour right here, and we're just gonna put that little booger right in there. And then you're just going to basically massage and knead in all this tapioca, and it's gonna take a while. You really gotta work it in. Our boba dough is looking good now, and then I divided into all of these little sections over here. This one I'm gonna keep white for the eyeballs, and then these are gonna be for the other like accent colors. To dye these, it's really easy. You just need one little drop, and I would suggest using gloves. Then you're gonna do this to the rest of these. We've got all our little colors over here. I'm just gonna take this dough, take a little pinch, and you're just gonna roll a bunch of small balls. I'm gonna try to also make them the same size, just eyeballing it. Ha 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 ha. Once you've rolled a bunch of these white balls, we're gonna add the iris color, the color of the eye. So we've got brown like my eyes, blue like my boyfriend's eyes, and green like my dad's eyes. So I'm just start with blue. So you're just gonna take a little bit, and then we're gonna attach it to the white ball. And if it's a little dry, you can just take a little paintbrush, dip it in a little water, and have it stick. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the black and squish, put a little bit of water, and we're gonna place it right in the center. I did it! I feel like I'm making eyeballs for dolls. Mike, these are like your eyes. They're blue.
Yeah, same size too.
Our eyeball is almost ready. Now we're gonna make some veins. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the red, just a little pinch, and then in my hand, I'm just gonna roll it into a very thin log. Put a little water on the back. And don't press too hard or it won't stick. Okay, this is how many eyeballs I made before I lost my mind. So there's a bunch here and they're so cute. And now I'm gonna take these over to the stove. I've got a pot of boiling water and we're gonna boil them for 15 minutes. Make sure you're stirring slowly and consistently. And then after 15 minutes, we're gonna turn off the heat, cover the pot, and let it sit for another 15 minutes. Honestly, I feel like I'm a witch making like, with Eye of Newt, like making a potion on the stove. This feels very hocus pocus. All right, 3 hours later, we have eyeball boba. I don't know if it's worth it yet, but the look-wise, look at this. They're like gooey and slimy, just like eyeballs. So this is so cool, and they're all different colors. And in the recipe, they pour in all the eyeballs, and then they add the ice. So let's add our ice. Last but not least, some matcha milk tea. Makes it look super creepy. Ooh, all right. The moment of truth, is it worth it? Oh. The texture, it's a little hard. How does it look? Oh, yeah, they're just a little tough. The creepiness and fun factor, 100 out of 10, but the actual texture is really tough, and they took forever to make, 3 hours, so I don't think that that's worth it. Spooky skull pizzas. They're like calzones, or like little pizza calzones, or like little Hot Pockets, but then they're skulls. First, you're gonna need a skull cake pan. This is by Nordic Ware. All right, so first thing we do is pop open these Pillsbury crescent rolls, pre-made dough. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, geez. A spoon.
Bro, you made chocolate noodles on the first try. You can't open the crescent.
I don't know how, I can do it. You know what? I think this is how you do it. I think you just... Oh God, that's not how to do that. For some reason, I remember these popping open. So there, that's how to do it. Now we're gonna unroll these. We're just gonna take 2, so it's like a rectangle, and that is going to line each one of these skull cavities. And there'll be some extra dough, and we're gonna save that to put it on the top, on the back, okay? Now we're gonna fill our little mini skulls to make them pizzas. Take a pinch of cheese, we got shredded mozzarella, big scoop of pizza sauce, then 3 pepperoni, that's what she does in the recipe. Then 1 more pinch of cheese, boom. And that's how you're gonna fill all of them. And now we're just gonna use the rest of this dough to put it on the back, so it's all encapsulated like a little calzone. Our little mini pizza skulls are all ready, and now you're gonna heat your oven to 350 degrees, and we're gonna bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. And ta-da! Here's our spooky skull pizzas that we made, and I am so excited to try these. I'm gonna open one up and see, and give it a taste. There's literally no way to mess up these ingredients together. It is worth it. And if you really want to have some fun, you can combine both of these recipes. Look at this. It looks so creepy. Look at how creepy that looks. Here's me studying in college. Hold the phone, everybody. We've got a cinnamon roll recipe, my favorite. I love making cinnamon rolls, but this one is creepy. It's intestine cinnamon rolls. This looks spooky, but maybe it tastes good. First, I'm gonna grease the pan. She does it with a little bit of butter, and here I got my casserole dish. So let's just greasity grease. So we're gonna unroll these. Whoa, okay, like that. And then I'm just gonna wiggle them into the pan and make a whole bunch of intestine-looking designs. I'm gonna connect this, because you want your intestines to connect. Look at that, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Oh, and then this is gonna come back around like that. Any way you want, just connect them all. Look at that, we've got our cinnamon roll intestines in the casserole dish. And now we're gonna pop these in the oven at 350 degrees and bake for about 18 to 25 minutes. While that's baking, we're gonna make the bloody glaze. So we're gonna be using one of the glazes that came with the instant cinnamon rolls, and then some seedless raspberry jam, which raspberry jam is my favorite. I like it more than strawberry. I like it more than anything. I don't know why, but an English muffin with the raspberry jam is my favorite. Okay, so we're gonna scoop in all this icing. And then optional, you can add a little drizzle of food coloring, little red food coloring if you wanna make it look more bloody. This looks like special effects for a horror film. Look at that. Oh, fresh intestines, hot out the oven. So this is really warm, so I'm putting it down on some little heat pads, and now I'm just gonna scoop our delicious raspberry glaze over the top to look super bloody. And then I've got a little pastry brush over here to like really paint it into the crevices to make it look bleh. Oh my gosh, this looks so cool. This is amazing. I cannot wait to taste this. This looks so gory. This looks like brains or guts. I can't even tell what it looks like, but it is creepy looking. This is so good. I really like this flavor combination. I like the raspberry jam with the cinnamon, and a recipe I highly recommend if you want to make something spooky and easy for Halloween, especially like a Halloween breakfast. These are so cute. I have been seeing these all over TikTok. They are Halloween chocolate bark. I have a feeling that this recipe is gonna be simple and fun, and I'm gonna have some fun with it. I'm gonna just be creative and make whatever. For my Halloween bark design, I'm gonna create a little graveyard. I've got Ghirardelli's milk coating chocolate, which I really like because you don't need to temper your chocolate. It's gonna look really beautiful after you melt it. Then I've got some white chocolate, and then crushed up Oreo and graham cracker to look like dirt, white chocolate covered pretzels to look like bones. We've got some Halloween sprinkles, eyeballs, pumpkin candies. I think these are by the same people who make candy corns. And then how cute are these? They're Reese's and they kind of look like gravestones. I cut the bottom so it'll be a nice flat edge, and we can put them all over. All right, so first we're gonna start by melting our chocolate. I've got everything prepped. We're gonna work a little quickly because when you're working with chocolate, it sets up pretty fast. So a really great tip is you can warm up the tray in the oven, which is where I have it right now. I've been letting it hang out in here. It's nice and warm, and this will give us a little bit more time Then we've got our melted chocolate and just pour it all over. All right, now I'm going to get our white melted chocolate, which I put into a piping bag, and I'm just gonna pipe our ghosts first. And then what I'm gonna do with a toothpick is I'm gonna pull down, look at that, to make a little ghost. The ghosts are done, now we're gonna give them faces. In a piping bag, I've got some melted milk chocolate, and we're just gonna pipe 2 little eyes. We've got our ghosts, and now I'm gonna put our little tombstones, our little Reese's tombstones. And then right in front of the grave, we're gonna put some loose cookie dirt with some graham cracker and crushed Oreo. Next up, pumpkins. You gotta have pumpkins on Halloween, they're the best. Now use the covered pretzels, look like a bunch of bones in the graveyard, just laying everywhere. So I'm just gonna throw a bunch of them all over. Now I'm gonna throw on some eyeballs, why not? I'm just gonna add some of the Halloween sprinkles because it just adds some fun Halloween colors to this cute bark. Then once the design is done, we're gonna let it sit for about 15-20 minutes for it to set up and harden. Our Halloween bark is so adorable. It's hard for me to even want to break it because it's so cute. I love the little graveyard. It's got pumpkins, it's got graves, it's got spooky ghosts. It's completely set, so look at that. Oh, okay, that kind of scared me. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna break it, I'm gonna break it. How pretty. Oh yeah, I want a piece with the pretzel right here. This is my bite. Milk chocolate with that salty pretzel crunch. This recipe is quick, easy, super fun, and you can get really creative, so I would definitely recommend. Oh, gross, it's edible Band-Aids. Let's try it. To make these things, it's pretty simple. We got these little vanilla cookies or wafers. This is a microplane, it's a little zester, like a fruit zester, and I'm just gonna very gently file the corners to be rounded. There you go, boom. And then you're gonna do this to all of your wafers. They're looking like Band-Aids already, but this is what's gonna really put it over the top. In a piping bag, I've got a little bit of white cookie icing, and we're just gonna pipe a little rectangle right in the center. And cookie icing sets up pretty fast. The waffle grid makes it a little bit tricky, but I'm gonna use it as a guide. Time to turn these into used bloody Band-Aids. We've got our raspberry jam in a little piping bag, and we're just gonna pipe a little bit on the top of the icing. The icing has set, it's dried, so you can do a little bit, you can do a lot, whatever you want. Maybe some Band-Aids just have a little bit. This is so gross. Like, look at this. Look. Mike, would this freak you out? I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Oh, gross. Oh, gross. Okay. Oh, gross. I gross myself out. Ta-da! And there you have it. Halloween bloody Band-Aids, little appetizers. I'm gonna try the one that's very used, the one with the most jam on it, because I love raspberry jam. It's got all the texture, it's crispy, and it's so mild, it barely has any flavor. And then when you get a little bit of sweetness and then a little tart jam, they pair together so well. All right, so this recipe is quick, easy, spooky, and fun. I think it's worth making. Oh my gosh, this is so creepy. The prosciutto looks like muscle. So this is like a charcuterie edible hand. It's like cheese with prosciutto on it, so it looks like muscle. So let's try it. All right, we're gonna start with some arts and crafts. I got a piece of parchment paper and a pencil, and I'm gonna trace my hand. Here we go. Now we're gonna make our cream cheese filling. In a medium-sized bowl, I've got 2 sticks of cream cheese, and then I've got some dill, parsley, and chive. So I'm gonna add all of those. We've got onion and garlic powder. It's perfect to keep the vampires away. That's what I'm talking about. Last but not least, a little salt and pepper. Using a spatula, I'm just gonna mix all of these together, and yum, yum, yum. I love cream cheese dips, they're so delicious. She just takes these suckers and lines them up with her fingers, but my hand is so small, it doesn't fit. So I'm gonna cut off the end, and then I'm gonna measure it up where it hits the knuckle. It's about there. Okay, there we go. Now we've got our little sausage fingers aligned, and now we're going to make the wrist. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the end, so it's just a nice clean cut. That's gonna be my wrist, and then this is gonna be the forearm. We've got our rough arm shape, and now I'm gonna add our cream cheese and connect everything. All right, then I'm gonna start shaping it to kind of look like a hand and connecting all the fingers. All right, now I'm just gonna get in there, use my fingers. We've got a hand, it's put together, and now we're gonna cover the whole thing with prosciutto. So I'm just gonna pick up each slice, and I'm gonna lay them down different ways. This is so spooky, but now we've got to give this cheesy meat hand a manicure. So over here, out of this onion, we are gonna make nails. Not just any nails, press-on nails. So to do this, I'm using a heart-shaped cookie cutter because this was just the perfect size. So look at this. You just press into it like so. Boop, got our little heart. And I've got a bunch of these little hearts, and they're just perfect because then you can cut them in half, and they are basically a stiletto nail. And I just curve the end just ever so slightly, but look at that. Stiletto nails, boom. Look at that, Mike. Halloween nails ready to go. And then to get them to attach, just use a little nail glue, just stick a little on, and then press them on. I'm gonna clean up the cheese a little bit around the nails, and then I'm gonna pop this in the fridge to chill for about 4 hours, and then we're ready to serve. I just took the hand out of the fridge, I put it on a little charcuterie platter. This is the fun part. The hand looks so creepy, but we're gonna cut it open to reveal the dip. So we're gonna cut right here, because that's what she does. Little cut right there, boop, 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 boop. Okay, so then we're gonna put some crackers on the board, and a mouse, and some spiders. Looks-wise, super spooky, super creepy. The prosciutto makes the hand look like actual muscle tissue. Like, it looks pretty realistic. It's really creepy. And let's try a taste. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit of that on the cracker. So I think this recipe is worth making. It was really fun, looks creepy, and the dip is incredible. Caramel pretzel bones, how fun. Okay, this is adorable. You had me at caramel pretzels, but had I known they were Werther's, I'm already there. I'm already there. Let's start this recipe. All you need to make this Halloween treat are pretzel rods, the big ones, and then you can break them into different sizes, so there'll be different sized bones. Werther's soft caramel, some white melting chocolate, and a little bit of cocoa powder for brushing. And then you open the little Werther's, and you kind of mold them like you would like molding chocolate. So you just kind of round the ends, and then I'm gonna bend it like this. Then I'm gonna stick it on an end right here, and then kind of shape the end to look like a bone. You can press these down in the back. And it's okay if they look kind of oddball. They don't need to be even. Like if one's a little bigger and one's a little smaller over here, they can look like that. And that actually makes them look a little bit more realistic, I feel like. So just go for it. There. We got our little pretzel caramels ready, and I melted some white chocolate and I put it into a tall glass to make dipping really easy. And then over here we've got the pretzels with our caramel attached to look like little bones. You're gonna dip these halfway, let them dry, and then dip the other half. Just jiggle, 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 let the excess drip off. Place it down. I have it on top of a baking sheet with a piece of parchment paper so it won't stick, and let that set. It usually takes about 10 minutes, and then we'll dip the other side. So I have some bones that have been dipped on both sides, and then these ones that I'm still dipping, so these ones are still setting up, but these ones have already set. They're dry and they're ready to be dusted. So I'm gonna do that now. Here I have a little bit of cocoa powder and a little dusting brush. Basically make it look like a little archaeologist, like it's a little Indiana Jones. Like they're kind of dirtied bones. Like, look at that. So pretty. Ta-da! And there you have it, chocolate caramel pretzel bones. These look so cool. And I really like the odder the caramel shape was, kind of the more realistic that they look. And these will be perfect for my dogs too. Not just me, but me and the dogs. Look, Mike.
There they are.
There they are. We got 2 little Frenchies and a bunch of bones, and they're gonna love it. Okay, and I'm gonna taste one for me. Werther's, pretzels, and chocolate, you can't go wrong. And if you're somebody who's sleeping on Werther's, this is a reason you should try it. This is a good reason you should wake up. All grandmothers know what's up. There's a reason old people like these, because they have wisdom, because they've been around. They've tasted all the candies, and all they want are Werther's and those weird strawberry ones. And I agree. I definitely think these are worth making. This recipe was delicious, and they look so cool. What is this? Mice and moldy cheese? How creative. Okay, cheesecake. You got the little fondant tool, make the holes. Dip it? No way. No way. Cherry. Oh, no, my God, no. I love it, it's so cute, let's do it. How cool is this? They're using a pre-made cheesecake. You can just get these at the grocery store, and it's frozen. First thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it into slices. We need 6 slices. We're gonna separate all of these, and then we're gonna be using this tool. It's a fondant tool, it's a ball tool. There's a small ball and a big ball to make little grooves. And then for the larger ones, I'm actually gonna be using teaspoon scoops, because I think that that's gonna work a little bit better. Because I want there to be little crevices. I finished poking holes into all my little cheesecakes, and then I put skewers in them to make it a little bit easier to dip, and I pop these in the freezer so that they're nice and cold, and they're gonna hold their shape while we're dipping them, because here I've got some melted yellow candy melts, and it's pretty warm, and that's why I want this cold, so that it will hold its shape. And the skewer will help it as well. So here we go, we're gonna go for it. Okay. Hopefully this isn't too hot. It might be. Okay, we're just gonna dip all the way around. Let the excess candy melts drip off back into here. Just gonna drag underneath a little bit, and then I'm gonna place it over here on a baking sheet lined with a piece of parchment paper so it doesn't stick. There we go, and then I'm gonna do that to the rest of these slices. While these are setting, we're gonna work on our little mice. We're gonna make a bunch of them. They make the cutest edible mice I have ever seen. Here are the finished beauties over here, and I am gonna break it down and show you how to do it. So what you're gonna do is take your cherry, and we're gonna dip the end of it, just like so, boop, 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 boop. And then we're gonna attach it to the Hershey Kiss, like that. And while it's sticking, you're also gonna put in the little ears. Look at that. They're so cute. Okay, now we're gonna dip the whole thing into chocolate, and then let the excess chocolate drip off. Drippity, drippity, drip, drip, drip. So we're gonna drag it on the cup, but we're also gonna drag it on the parchment paper. So I'm gonna start here, and then drag, 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 and let it sit, just like that. And while it's setting up, we're gonna add the eyes and the nose. Just gonna place the nose there, boop, just like that, and then 2 eyeballs. And then you just wait about 10 minutes, and then they'll harden, and you'll have little cute edible mice. Our cheesecake is looking pretty cheesy, and now we're gonna decorate, just adding a little bit of color and dimension to make this cheese look moldy and old. So we are using a little small dusting brush and a little bit of chocolate cocoa powder. I'm being pretty generous because this is a light powder. The final little touch that she does is she uses cotton candy and just these little pieces of it, and then sticks it onto the cheese. It looks too real. This looks like this cheese has seen things. This is a creepy, creepy detail. Now, with the green food coloring, we've got a little bit of green and a little bit of white to brighten it up just a little bit. Just keep doing this to make your cheese look as unappetizing as possible, because it's working. And ta-da! Here is the moldy cheese with mice. This is the grossest, most adorable thing that I've ever made. I love this idea. I think it's super creative. All right, let's try one of these little mice. They're so cute. Absolutely love it. The flavors go really well together. Chocolate and fruit. And when you bite into it, I know this is kind of gross, but it looks a little bloody. Doesn't it? Like I bit the mouse in half. Oops, sorry, but they're just so cute. They're so cute you could eat them. Let's try our moldy cheese cheesecake now. I'm gonna pick up this little slice. It looks so gross. Oh my gosh, but it tastes so good. You really can't go wrong. It is hard to go wrong with cheesecake. It's delicious, especially dipped in a thin layer of chocolate. So overall, this recipe couldn't be cuter, couldn't be creepier, especially with the mice. I mean, this is adorable. If you've got the time this Halloween, I would highly recommend. Easy Puff Pastry Bats. This looks simple, easy, fun. Let's give it a go. You don't need much for this recipe. You will need frozen puff pastry. This is at the grocery store. This I let thaw in the refrigerator overnight. So this is refrigerator temperature, not frozen, to make it a little bit easier to work with. And then over here, I've got Nutella, and then I've got a little bit of egg wash, and that's all we're gonna need. So I'm gonna take a little rolling pin, and as you can see, it's got these little creases. And I'm just gonna try to flatten it out, make it a little smoother. Then we're gonna take our Nutella. I got a little spatula. I'm gonna just scoop it on here on one side of the puff pastry. All right, here we go. Pick this puppy up, line it up. You just get one shot at it, so just go for it. And now I'm gonna gently roll these, which I saw in the video, she was using a roller. Just gently, I'm not putting muscle into it. I'm not trying to squeeze out all the Nutella. I'm just trying to have these connect. Next, we've got a bat cookie cutter, and I'm gonna try to cut out 6 bats. That is my goal. I'm gonna start in the corners. My goal was 6, I'm gonna get 7. No way. Now, last but not least, we've got a little bit of egg wash. Now this is just an egg, and we got a little basting brush, and we're just gonna paint over the top of each of these. Get a nice, beautiful golden brown color. Now our little bat snacks are ready to bake. You're gonna heat your oven to 400 degrees and bake these for about 18 to 22 minutes. And ta-da, here are the bat puffs that we made today. There were many more, but my team ate them, so this is what I've got left. So let's give them a try. Ooh, that's nice and crispy. I love the flakes. That's why I love puff pastry. Just those beautiful flaky layers. I mean, I could eat puff pastry all day. It's delicious. After all the things that we made today, this one doesn't really have a wow factor, but it still tastes good. I just got spoiled with all those good recipes. Now I need something else. What is a Beetlejuice margarita? Tell me all about it, Halloween. Okay, we got little blueberries, and we're gonna freeze them in there. The ice cubes look like eyeballs. I get it now, okay. I get it, and I love it. I wanna try it. Let's go. I ordered this cute little mold online so I can make ice balls. Never have I used this before. So now I've got some fresh blueberries over here. So I'm gonna put a blueberry in each one of these little cavities. We're gonna fill it up to this little line. Oh, there we go. Okay, and then these are floating, so I gotta catch them. Okay, perfect. Now I'm gonna pop these in the freezer and freeze them. Our ice is frozen. Oh my. Oh! Okay! It worked! Look at this, they look like eyeballs! Oh, this is great. Okay, so I'm just gonna put all these in here. We got our lime juice, and I'm gonna measure 1 ounce, so it's the bigger side of this. Ooh, oh my, is that perfectly 1 ounce? Oh, shut up, who's a bartender? So just fill it with ice, and then you're gonna put in your ounce of lime juice, boom. And then we're gonna add some ounces of all this other weird stuff. Here we have pucker sour apple, some kind of a schnapps, and this one is some sweet melon stacks schnapps. A lot of schnapps. All right, so we need 1 ounce of each of these. Last but not least, a little tequila. You wanna use a clear tequila. Now we need 2 ounces of these. You know, 1, boom, 2. If you spill a little bit more in there, it's fine. To make this very spirited this Halloween, if you wanna make this unspirited, you can skip this, but who would do that? Okay, so you put this little top on like this. Don't forget the lid, trust me, I've been there. If you start shaking this, it comes out, goes sideways, and then you do it like this. Mamrie taught me this. Okay, she didn't teach me that, but she did. Give a little shake. This is raspberry syrup that we got from Total Wine, so this was already made, and we're gonna use it to decorate the rim. So you're just gonna dip it, and we're just gonna let it drip a little bit. Oh, look at that, it looks bloody. And now we're gonna put in our little ice balls. Oh my gosh, I can make a couple of these. This is great. All right, now let's pour. And it's leaking. We did it. Cheers to Halloween. We did it. Look at that. Beetlejuice margarita. Let's see if it's as good as it looks. Whoa. The drink isn't bad, it's just very tart. It's a little strong and it's very tart. So if you like tart candies like Sour Patch Kids or any of those sour candies, that's what I'm tasting because the syrup's a little tart, these like the sour apple's a little tart, and then the tequila hits and it's all just kind of like tart. So I would actually rim it maybe with a little bit of sugar. So you get a little bit of sour and sweet together so the flavor is a little bit more balanced. But if you like tart drinks, this is a tart margarita, and it is strong, so it will get the party started. So just make sure it's on the rocks. Use lots of eyeballs. Woo! We made so many spooky Halloween TikTok recipes today. I think my favorite savory was the pizza skulls, and my favorite sweet was the chocolate caramel bones. The Wuthers. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to watch any other videos, you can click over here or here. And let me know what other recipes I should try. Leave me a comment down below. Happy Halloween, you guys. Goodbye.